and now he is running something called the SF Postcard Project. He's really one of the best people I've seen at talking to anybody on the street. You know, that person that you kind of want to walk across the street or be on the other side or don't make eye contact with. Hunter can engage that person and talk about it. And, not everyone's completely receptive, but he's never going to not try. And he's trying to help tell people stories, and he's going to share his story right now. Hunter Franks.
So we're going to start with a little community engagement. I'm going to say one word. I want you guys think about it for like 3 seconds. Turn to the person to your left. If there's nobody to your left, find somebody else. And you're going to exchange those words. Only one word. So I'm going to say the word right now. Take 3 seconds. First word that pops in your mind. Turn to the person to the left. Say it to them. So here's the word. You ready? Tenderloin. 3, 2, 1. Turn. Tenderloin. Say it.
That to that next person?
Oh, you sell music.
Oh, okay. Too harsh.
So we probably got a variety of responses from different sort of words, different sort of reactions, maybe depending on where you live, what sort of thing, if you work in this neighborhood, and technically we're not in the town, we're a few blocks away. But so everybody has a different sort of experience in this area. I'm going to read you one experience. This is from Eric. His address is in transition, and he says, I love the Tenderloin because, like the Tenderloin, I've been stable, and through no fault of my own, I've been cast in a bad light. But like this neighborhood, I have a good, strong heart, and will climb back into the light. So that's from a postcard from one of my projects. And so a lot of the work that Mike talked about that I had worked on the Mayor's Office of Civic Innovation with, one of the final projects there, I got to work with youth in the Bayview. And for those not familiar, Bayview is a somewhat isolated neighborhood out in the southeast of San Francisco. And there's a lot of issues there. There's crime, there's drug use, there's unemployment, there's a lot of things that they struggle with there. And got to work with some kids there, and they went out and talked to people about how they could improve their neighborhood. And they heard about all those issues. They heard about people saying, nobody's hiring me for jobs, I don't know how to get off the streets, et cetera, et cetera. And what the kids finally came back with, out of all these different things they heard, was they wanted to change the perception of their neighborhood. So they had this huge platform in the mayor's office to do anything they wanted to, and all they wanted to do was to change how people looked at them, which is pretty powerful stuff. So that sort of got me to thinking, how can I parlay that into something else? And how can I sort of break down those walls, break down those barriers? And that's the same philosophy that I brought here to Free Space. Clearly we're in a neighborhood that has some challenges as well. The alley right behind us, out that back door, one side is used for heroin, the other side is used for cocaine. Everybody in the city knows if you want to do heroin, that's where you come to buy it, that's where you come to shoot up. We find needles out there all the time. And so there's clearly a lot of things happening around us. And so I think we would have been remiss to create this beautiful, amazing, heavenly, artistic space inside these walls, but not look outside and address some of those issues. And not try to solve them. We're not going to solve homelessness in a month. We're not going to solve drug use and crime in a month, but at least hear their stories. So that's a lot of what I try to do here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share about 5 principles, 5 learnings that I took away from these past 2 months and from putting on different events. And hopefully you guys can take some of this away with you and maybe take them into your own communities and try to build a stronger community and create some connections in your personal life as well. So the first is make it fun. People enjoy interacting and doing fun things. So an example of that, we have a lovely park cycle. If you've been out back, you've seen it's a pedal-powered parklet. And we took it out front one day and just set it out there, set up some foursquare, drew some chalk lines, and gave people a reason to stop and interact for a second. So not just going from point A to point B, but to stop and hang out and start having some face-to-face conversations. Second principle is you have to incentivize these interactions somehow. People want something from you, you have to give something back to them. So Morgan's been awesome. Every Friday we take out flowers from the flower mart. If the flowers aren't quite exactly perfect, and the rose doesn't smell perfectly sweet, then they can't sell them. So they give them to us, we take them out in the neighborhood, and we say, hey, here's a free flower, happy Friday. So people, it's a simple light touch way for people to get that interaction. I did another project out front where I hung up a white sheet, took a Polaroid camera, and took pictures of people and gave them free portraits. So again, they're getting something from you. And it doesn't have to be an actual physical thing, but at least your attention and your interest. And you'll hear that people want to talk. Some people just want to be heard, and that's all they want. And if you sit there and listen long enough, you'll hear some good stories. And one of the portraits, there's this guy named Bob, who I think we've all come to love here at Free Space. He's about, I don't know, 65, 70, he has a huge handlebar mustache, losing all his hair, has a cane, terrible teeth, and I met him out front giving away free portraits. And he came up, asked what I was doing, I told him about it, we talked for a while, and Bob has cancer. He had one lung removed not too long ago. Same things happened in his other lung, but he kept it. He said, I'm not going to try to even do it again. And he still, when I met him, he was still smoking, and he offered me a little bit of brandy that he had hidden in his jacket pocket. So Bob's not letting that slow him down. And it was just, it's a simple way. I heard that story, and I talked to Bob, and now Bob's come back, maybe 3 or 4 times. He wanted to, give us money to help crowdfund, to stay here another month. He's been back, just to chat, just to hang out. Yesterday even he was here, just hanging out, shooting the breeze with some folks here. So again, it's a way to invite people in. A simple light touch to begin can pull people all the way in and really give them that sense of community that maybe they were afraid at first to sort of come in and see what was inside here, but give them a little touch and they can really feel like they can be a part of the community. So Bob took that little Polaroid portrait that I gave him and he stuck it above his headboard on his bed. Probably the most important place in the whole room that he could put that little piece of paper. So pretty powerful stuff. Again, simple light touch. And that's the third principle, is people just need a light touch. They don't want a big hug. I'm not saying go to Bayview, hang out there all night, stay until like midnight, walk up and down the street, see what happens. People don't need to jump in that far right away. They just need a little light touch. So that can be something like a chalkboard. So one of the first things we did was put a chalkboard out front here and put little prompts up on, like the first time I fell in love, I blank. Simple little things that there are emotions that everybody can relate to and everybody can get drawn into. But again, it's just a simple way for people to interact and start to connect more. The fourth principle is empower people. So Free Space, part of doing community engagement in Free Space it was really easy. I had a simple model like, hey, it's free, anybody come in. It's already incredibly inclusive as you can get, really. As long as you can sign the waiver and say if you hurt yourself on the slide, you won't sue us, then you can come on in. So it's pretty easy to do that. So Free Space was a big part of empowering people, classes, workshops, all sorts of stuff. And I do a bit of that as well with the SF Postcard Project, is allowing people to tell their story, to say why they love their neighborhood, let other people understand that their neighborhood is not just drugs and crime, but also it's amazing restaurants and amazing food and amazing weather, whatever the case may be. So it's giving people a way to take pride in their own neighborhoods as well. The last principle is that I learned from my time here at Free Space is that everybody has a story, right? It may not be a story that's exactly like yours, it may be a story that's somewhat like yours, but everybody has some story. So it's just a matter of, again, stepping back and listening to that story. So what the SF Postcard Project is all about is it's just a postcard, 4x6, about this size, and the front says, greetings from the Tenderloin, or from the Baby. Those are the two neighborhoods I'm working in right now. The back has its place for name, address, and it says, I love my neighborhood because. So folks are able to fill that in with a positive story of their neighborhood. And what I do is I collect those, I work with different organizations to collect those. I take those postcards and I send them out to random people in San Francisco. So somebody's getting a surprise piece of mail with a positive story about a neighborhood they probably only hear negative things about. And so what happens with a lot of marginalized neighborhoods is they don't have a chance to give their voice. They don't have a chance to say like, hey, I'm from Bayview, but I'm not going to do all the things that you think I'm going to do. I'm actually maybe just like you. One of the stories from the Postcard Project was 2 young white girls in the Mission and maybe a 50-year-old black lady in Bayview. They actually got together through the Postcard Project and figured out they had read the same book about 2 weeks ago. It was about a clash of cultures. So again, there's not that much dissimilarities between people, so it's just a matter of creating that touch. And so that's the SF Postcard Project. And I think if I could give you guys one call to action for tonight. it's that everybody wants to connect, they just don't know how to do it. So that's a lot of what my personal work and the work I try to do with Free Space, and I think the beauty of Free Space is that it allows that shared space, that shared experience. All you guys here right now, who knows who you might say hi to in 20 minutes, and that's your new friend, or that's your new person you're going to work on a project with, or that's your new person you're going to do an art piece on the wall with. So it's just about creating the vehicle, the light touch to begin that interaction. And I'd encourage you to check out sfpostcardproject.com for some more stories. There's ways to get involved as well in that personal project of mine. And last but not least, just talk to a stranger. See what happens. When you're in the elevator next to somebody, say hi to them. When you're walking, you see a homeless guy on the ground, say hi to him. Chances are that it's going to make your day, and it's also going to make their day. Thank you, guys.